Amazon is developing a service to use drones to safely deliver packages to customers in 30 minutes or less. It's called Prime Air. We've started a new private trial for customers in the Cambridge area of England, and on December 7th, we completed our first delivery. Customers will choose from a selection of thousands of items tucked away in a Prime Air fulfillment center located just over the horizon from their homes. We have been operating fulfillment centers for quite a while now, but this one is unlike all the rest. These modest-looking buildings contain innovative Prime Air technology. Here's how it works. Moments after receiving the order, an electrically powered Amazon drone makes its way down an automated track and then rises into the sky with the customer's package on board. These drones are autonomous. From takeoff to landing and return, they operate completely on their own. Cruising quietly below 400 feet, carrying packages up to 5 pounds, and guided by GPS, our systems are designed to find their destinations safely. Within 30 minutes of placing the order, the customer receives their package. For this initial trial, customers can choose from the latest tech gadgets to their dog's favorite biscuits. We will use the data gathered during this beta test and the feedback provided by customers to expand the private trial to more customers over time. We're starting with 2 customers now, and in the coming months, we'll offer participation to dozens of customers living within several miles of our UK facility, and then growing to hundreds more. After that, well, it'd be easy to say, the sky's the limit. But that's not exactly true anymore, is it?
In rural areas, the infrastructure you would need for a terrestrial network is sometimes not economical. You would need to connect cell phone towers hundreds or thousands of kilometers over mountains or potentially crossing rivers and seas. Loon has decided to take a terrestrial infrastructure and sort of lift it up to the stratosphere, taking the most essential components, that is the antennas, and putting them on a balloon. In 2013, we did our first proof of concept test in New Zealand. A lot of the equipment was early prototype. It certainly was not a solution that you could scale up to millions of people. After the New Zealand experiment, we focused now on a scalable, deployable, worldwide solution. First, we needed a very reliable and robust high-throughput link to the existing internet. We beamed that signal up to the balloon through ground stations where the terrestrial internet network sort of ends and Loon starts, connecting the telcos up to the balloon. The balloon is not stationary, it's actually moving across the sky, so you need your antennas to be tracking that balloon continually and to be a high-throughput, reliable link. Once you get the data from the ground station up into the balloon, you need to connect multiple balloons in a chain in order to get the signal to where it needs to go. Sometimes hundreds or thousands of kilometers away from the ground station. So the balloon-to-balloon links are a really critical element of the Loon network. You can't string fiber between balloons, so the next best thing is to just beam the signal using lasers. You have these 2 free-floating platforms that are kind of swaying and bobbing freely. A dance, if you will, between the 2 balloons where the 2 lasers are trying to keep the beams locked onto each other as they drift in the sky. Everything has to be so precise and well-aligned to be able to provide reliable and robust connections. We've established gigabit per second connectivity between the balloons up in the stratosphere, hundreds of kilometers apart. Getting the signal down to the user. We're using LTE, so you could just use the same mobile devices used today to get service whenever there's a Loon balloon floating by. All of this technology coming together will ultimately allow someone who could be thousands of kilometers away from the nearest ground infrastructure to have access to the internet.
Throughout history, there have been a series of innovations that have each taken a huge chunk out of the friction of moving things around. Project Wing aspires to take another big chunk of the remaining friction out of moving things around in the world.
The global issues that face us right now are pretty dramatic. Moving stuff around has a huge impact on the carbon footprint of humanity. We have simply got to change it. I'm here to truly democratize the airspace. Make the airspace something that every human on the planet gets to use.
How do we create a system that lets us use flight to make life better on the ground while keeping the sky pristine and quiet, and make it as safe as possible? We're starting to reach out to other people in the industry and to governments, because this is not a problem that any one company can solve by itself. But working together, we can get to this future surprisingly quickly.
I'm Sarah Schwig. I'm a professor at Liverpool John Moores University.
My name is Lian Pin Ko. I'm an ecologist. Together, we are the co-founders of conservationdrones.org.
Lian Pin and I have traveled the world quite a bit with drone systems. We've been to Indonesia, where we are now.
We think that conservation drones has the potential to be a real game changer because it's so cost effective.
I've been doing orangutan survey work for about the past 20 years. When Lian Pin and I met up the first time, we discussed if there would be a better way to collect data on where these nests are. This part is a little bit higher, so we have to be a bit careful there.
Okay, we just built a simple mission.
The route that you want to fly is programmed. You program it by simply clicking waypoints on a map.
What's the maximum it could fly?
About 40 kilometers probably.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit more, but we want to be on the safe side. It's really a great opportunity to use a new technique to help with old problems. Conservation is really difficult.
Maybe cannot.
But let's think first. The main objective is that we do the orangutan nests.
It's safer to follow the coordinates.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's because we want to be sure that we have it.
basically the researcher just has to throw the plane in the air and off it will go, flying about its mission.
Do you ever put it up and then go have a beer and then...
Yeah, coffee. Yeah. The plane has a small autopilot in it, and then it can fly that route.
Yeah, it's flying away from us again.
And we have a still camera in the plane that can take a photo every 2 seconds. And then those photos can be stitched together to make a mosaic of the whole area.
But this looks quite good.
Yeah, it looks good. Can you zoom in?
It works, we can detect these nests, so these systems can help to find out where orangutans are. And that's something that's very useful for lots of conservation workers, because they would like to see what the changes are in land use, for instance. The goal is to try to see how this technology can be used to help people with their conservation projects. One of the things we would like this technology to go to is to systems that have a longer range, so they can fly farther away, so we can explore certain areas that haven't been explored yet.
can see it better from the air.
Which one is? The other one's
On the other side, probably this side.
it goes from the ocean up to the station.
The number you have reached is not in service.
Tip, informazione gratuita. Attenzione, il numero selezionato
Kein
è
Anschluss
inesistente.
unter dieser
Tip,
Nummer.
informazione gratuita. Attenzione, il numero selezionato è inesistente.